and yet I understood it when I read it. Now, I can't go into a room and teach astrophysics. I can't go in and teach practical physics of any kind. I took basic physics as a course that I had to in school, but other than that, that's where it stopped. But I have an interest in it. So you just go, and they just guided me the whole way. So I was very ill when I was 27 in the hospital. Actually, they weren't sure I was going to last. I had first gallbladder surgery, but the doctors in attendance never bothered to keep checking my blood. They never checked my liver readings, and I landed up being very ill, was rushed in an emergency to a major hospital, and they weren't sure I was going to make it through the night because they started losing me the night before I was scheduled for surgery, and I just managed to get to the buzzer. I didn't want to have that pain anymore, and my being said, we're not taking you now. We've got to get you through this. It's not your time. We have a lot more for you to do in this life. So who am I to argue with my beings? I knew who they were, and I got through that the night, but then on the operating table, it was supposed to be a 2-hour surgery. They knew what to do, and I went in to do it, but it took 4.5 hours for that surgery. And the reason I knew is because I always look at a clock if I have to go into surgery when I'm in the OR and they put me on the table. Then I always look at the clock again when I'm in recovery, and I ask, how long have I been here? And I did that. And I asked, how long have I been here? Because here it's 4:30 in the afternoon. I went out under anesthesia at 9:30, 10 o'clock. And they said, you've just been here about 10 minutes. And I said, what happened? And they said, what do you mean? I said, I went into surgery at 9:30, 10 o'clock this morning. It was only supposed to take a couple of hours. Well, of course, the nursing attendant said, I don't know. Well, it wasn't until a few weeks later, after I was home. I was in the hospital a good 3 weeks. And I came home, and I was fine now. And the surgeon's nurse, the surgeon's wife called me. The surgeon and his wife are good friends of my family. So she called to see how I was doing. And in the process of conversation, she said, you know how lucky you were, young lady. And I said, I think so. She said, they lost you twice on the table, and they almost couldn't revive you. So here is another issue. I can say the surgeons were great and all that, but those beings were always over me. They weren't ready for me yet. I was ready to go. They weren't ready yet. So, I just have to accept it as I feel and know it was. Unfortunately, a lot of things could have been a lot more negative for me, and they turned out to be positive, even though looked like I was on the way out of this life. And I was willing to go. I had been in a lot of pain for a good year, and they just weren't ready for me. So they did whatever they could to keep me going, and they were very successful. So, anyone could put what they want to that story. I'm the one that lived it, but I'm also the one that continues to live with them in my life on a regular basis. Barely a day goes by where they don't tell me something or guide me with something, whatever it may be, that I'm doing. Even when I'm investigating a case of possible abductees with some of the work I do, very often, I'll get stories, I'll ask questions, and I'm searching for an answer, and then all of a sudden I'm being downloaded with some information. And I don't present that information as a matter of fact. I present it as it's possible that this could be what's going on, because I have to be able to validate it and verify it with as many facts as I can. Now, with some of my cases, I ask them to get things checked, and I ask them to get DNA. And in one particular case, he was very astute. And he was a case assigned, and he had a buzzing in his ears, and he couldn't get it to stop, and he got an otoscope to look in, and he lit it up, and he had an implant. And he wanted to know he couldn't figure out how to get rid of the buzzing, and I said, you've got some ETs working with you, so start communicating with them, tell them that they've got a defective implant in your ear, and ask them to remove it. And I said it could take a while for that to happen. You have to make contact with him. Well, he ended up calling me about 4 nights later, and he said, "You're not going to believe this, but the buzzing stopped." And I said, "Do you think they removed it?" And he said, "No, I checked, and it's still there." And then he called me again the next day, and he said, "Guess what?" And I said, "What?" And he said, they put another implant in my other ear so they could track me. I said, "Is it working properly?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Okay, then there's nothing we can do because it's there." But they wouldn't take her out. They wouldn't take out, because they told me when I asked, "Why didn't you take it out?" And my beings told me that they wouldn't take it out because it was implanted the way it was, and to try to remove it would cause him problems. So they were going to just leave it in as long as everything else was okay. And that's what happened. So sometimes they help me with some of my cases. And I've learned to listen over the years. You know, they've never misguided me yet, and I don't expect them to. And they know I'm ready to go at any time to be prepared. And I asked them one time, "Why did you train me to do what I'm doing?" And they said, "Because this is what you're going to be doing in your next life, but on a greater scale." So
Now you're on the ERT team? You're on the ERT team? Or is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And how long have you been with MUFON?
Well, I've been with MUFON about 7 years. No one in MUFON knows about me. No one. I don't talk about it. And no one on the ERT. Well, and no one on the ERT team I have said anything to either. It's a challenge. There are some people in MUFON that I don't know, it's kind of strange. I have to question how much of everything do they even believe. But
right.
So why cause an issue and why create a situation for myself that could be thought of as negative about me? I am what I am. I am who I am. I do what I do. And my mission is trained to help other people learn to help themselves on the basis that at some point in this life or another, when we have to go to another planet, and that I know is going to happen, and I'm going to be handling a lot of those transpositions, and it's teaching people and helping people learn how to help themselves, to have an understanding of what's going on around them, because at some point it's possible there won't be anybody else to help them. So it's teaching self-help and helping them understand what is going on in their lives through the anomalies that they're going through. But every case is different. And it doesn't mean they're all actual abductees, and it doesn't mean that they all have implants. Some of them are experiencing things, some of them weigh on the level of more paranormal, which I separate from experiences as I know them, and TJ may know them. So I don't want to confuse those two. I hear footsteps in the house periodically. I know they're here, and I tell them, "I hear you," and that's it. And as soon as they know I know they're there, they're gone. And I don't see anything. It's nighttime, but they have come into my house, and I have seen them because I asked one, "If you're here, can you let me see you?" And all of a sudden, he's there, and I'm just lying in bed. I'm here he's here at the foot of the bed, and I said, "Thank you." That's all. I say thank you to them all the time. They comply.
Thank you.
It's an interesting
I believe
situation.
being open-minded and accepting is a big part of this reality that we're moving into. And I'd like to have you back if it's okay. And also with our ACO Association and UFO Association, I'm sort of where you're at in life. I've had much of what you've had happen in my life, and I'm having to come to terms with the fact that I'm here now and I'm losing a lot of the people that I love. But I would like to have something in place when I leave this planet in this container in place to help people. And so these associations right now, Janet's, we've got them coming in free, but we definitely need to name this particular thing that we're working with. And those of us that have had death and dying and out-of-body experiences, and we've had to learn to walk and talk again or been close to death, and it's all coming together with out-of-body, near-death, reincarnation, consciousness, layering and learning in the metaphysical phenomenology, alienology, cosmology. And I really feel like it's time for all of us to come together and meet each other. So I thank you for coming on. We've only got 4 minutes. So we've only got 4 minutes left, so I need to get how people can get in contact with you. And then if Janet wants us to list you and you would like that, we can put you in our UFO Association. And, we can have a whole MUFON group or whatever. But a lot of people don't want to do research, but they want to be known. And we're calling them UFO enthusiasts until we find something better. But in the meantime, we have contributors, subscribers. It's free to join. And Janet will just have to come up with a name, like a team that helps certain people, because Janet and I both felt like that ERT list was too close to abductees, and we were more agreement in contactees and more benevolent in knowing why they do what they do. So we need to separate all those contactees, experiencers, abductees. All right.
Well, I'll be
where
happy
can we
to
get in touch with you?
participate.
Thank you.
And I'll be happy to participate and get in touch with you, TJ, also, and I'll give you my information directly.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, would you like to leave any information here for people to contact you, or your Facebook or Gmail, whatever
I
you
can
want?
give them. I would. I'll tell you what. I have no problem with having Janet list me and do that. And the answer to your question is yes. But I'm in the process of getting another email to take care of what we're talking about now for people to contact me, separate from my other emails, so that
I'll put it up on the website. I'll put it on the website when you get that to me. I will include your contact information. Just get that to me, and I will update the website page so people can contact you that way. And we will have you back for another show. We just began. 1 hour is way too short to cover it all, but we got done what we got done.
And it's called a lifetime.
So,
yeah. Well, thank you very much. And TJ, it was a pleasure meeting you. And
you too.
Janet, thank you. And I have a feeling we're all going to be very much in touch. Thank you very much.
Yes, I'd like to hear your husband's experience too. He worked with the government, as did I. So he may want to come back and talk to Ken tomorrow night, Friday night. If your husband's up to it, he can come on the same time, same phone number tomorrow night with Ken Johnston, if he wants to.
Whose husband are you talking about? Who's
yours?
Tomorrow night.
Not mine.
Ask him, but don't.
My husband works for the government, but he worked for the government and in space sciences and NASA, but he would not be able to come on because it's too much to classify. So we can't.
Well, we do that. Excellent. We have Kim Johnston that was with NASA. My husband worked at NASA, but these engineers are talking about like when the spaceship blew up and things like that, Apollo missions. But just let him know it's available tomorrow night. You can listen. It's TJ Morris ET Radio Friday nights with me and Ken Johnston on Friday nights. It's more nuts and bolts and NASA engineers. TJ? Same time, 6. Well, let's see. No, actually, Ken, it's 6 Arizona time. Just call this number 6 Arizona time, and he can listen, and I can turn him on and off. Same telephone number, just to repeat.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll let you get going. Let you go going.
All right.
Janet, Janet, if I get approved for the new email address, I'll send it to you right away.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And TJ, I want to call you. And before we go, TJ, I want to call you back, but I have to make another call. So we'll talk to you in about half an hour, okay?
All right, I understand.
Okay, I got to go.
All right, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Janet, for booking Annie. Thank you, Annie.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, Arizona MUFON chapter. Thank you. All right, thank you, everybody. That was Mike Panicello, Annie Heckman. Yes, is it Gechman or Heckman? I didn't ask her.
Gechman. G-E-C-K-M-A-N. Gechman, yes. I have to run, TJ. I'll call you in about a half an hour. Much love and blessings, okay, dear? Aloha.
All right. Aloha. Thank you, everybody. I've got Gechman. She said C-K, didn't she? I've got H. Well, we'll have to fix that, won't we? So we'll try to get more information of people that we're going to be interviewing folks in the future. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we appreciate your time. We'll be back here tomorrow night with our ACO, Allied Command Organization, more space, interesting information, the old history and people, and we don't have to talk classified, but we can talk about what we do know. And so it's just sort of fun to see how engineers and space astronauts think, and Ken Johnston is very good at that. So tomorrow night, Allied Command Organization